Hello and happy Friday Eve from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. I got questions, starting with this one. Who made Kevin McCarthy the curator of 40,000 hours of Jan 6 Capitol security video? And then what gives him the right, how does he have the authority to unilaterally gift that to admitted noted propagandist Tucker Carlson, while withholding it from legitimate news media? And don't anybody ever refer to Fox as a news operation again. Why? Because they've admitted it. It's just amazing to me. You have an organization, you have individuals admit they were lying, confess to the lies, say in some cases that they regret the lies, in others they don't, but they tell you they're lying. And then you insist that they're not lying, that they're telling the truth. We have a word for people who think like that. It's called children. It's called wishful thinking. It's unbelievable. This outrage not only fails the smell test, it is letting off lethal odor. Don't go in there. So is McCarthy now Tucker Carlson's agent or publicity director or executive producer? What exactly is his role here? But it gets worse. The GOP, as a party, holistically, has now said that they're going to come to the aid and defense of people who have been charged with crimes in the Jan 6 riot. Specifically, they're going to make edited, cherry-picked, sanitized tape available to these felons in order to aid in their defense. Think about this. The GOP as an organization is on the side of the bad guys. They're on the side of people who, in a premeditated, violent, coordinated, deadly way, attacked our Capitol, causing a lot of human suffering, but beyond that, in staging an insurrection whose goal was to overturn a free and fair election and overthrow the government of the United States. And it was nothing less than that. And the GOP is now on the side of the bad guys. Was it question mark and the Mysterians who said, "I'm going to cry 96 tears"? I think it was. What the hell has happened to us? Ted Cruz, that was shameful yesterday. You're grandstanding in front of Merrick Garland. Ted Cruz being Ted Cruz. Hey, Blinken and Lavrov got together. Could be ominous. Who knows? Might be something semi-positive. We'll hope for that. All right, you can go over to the sports blog at radicallyrational.com. You hit the Our News tab, you scroll down, it's all there, and I flesh this whole thing out. But I'll just leave it with this question for right now. What do the number one prospect in the upcoming NBA draft and the number one prospect in the upcoming NFL draft have in common? Nothing good. They've both been involved in tawdry scenarios that resulted in the loss of human life. All right, to quote Boz Scaggs, to me it looks like there's a breakdown dead ahead between the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Jackson's got unrealistic contract expectations based on that ridiculous contract that the Browns gave to Deshaun Watson. And if the Ravens slap the tag on Lamar Jackson, they're going to be in salary cap hell. I just don't think that marriage can be saved. Okay, the Colts have the 4th pick in the draft. They have been a mess at quarterback ever since Andrew Luck retired following the 2019 season. But they got the number 4 pick. So this is their best chance since then to do something about that. So what do you think, Bryce Young? Well, at 4, they might have to trade up even more than that. And I did like this yesterday. Indy GM Chris Ballard got kind of combative at the combine yesterday. He's being asked about the quarterback situation. And he said, look, we're going to do the right thing, but we're not going to take a quarterback just to get you guys, meaning reporters, off our asses. I understand that. I kind of like that. Okay, I was actually in attendance at Stanford Stadium for Super Bowl 19. That's the one where Joe Montana and the 49ers buried Dan Marino and the Dolphins. I was there, and the 49ers were wearing red jerseys. Okay, 4 years later, the 49ers and Joe Montana are playing the Bengals in one of the best Super Bowls ever, Super Bowl 23, and because his wife suggested it, Jennifer suggested it, Montana was wearing the very same jersey that he had worn 4 years prior. And they won that game. So yesterday, that jersey was auctioned off for $1.212 million. And if you're thinking that's an all-time record for a bid on a football jersey, you are correct. Finally, going to close with this. The NFL Players Association recently conducted a survey. They asked players to rank their teams in things like how well their families get treated, what their nutritional programs are like, what their strength and conditioning program is like, what's the locker room like, what are the other facilities like, what's the coaching like, what's the travel situation. In other words, how well do you think you're treated? And the idea was to compile the data so that folks who are becoming free agents might have that information when they're deciding where to go. So in case you're wondering, I know you are, the teams that ranked highest for that, or best in all that stuff, Vikings, Dolphins, and Raiders. The three worst, no surprises here, the Cardinals, the Commanders, and the Chargers. Interesting information, but I'll just leave you with this question. In doing that, and I know it's their job to serve the players, might they be giving some teams a competitive advantage and others a disadvantage? Just something to stew on as we try to make our way through Thursday, because we're radically rational.